Module 13, idea sourcing. Now, many investors get stuck with this one. Where do I find ideas? How do I filter them? How do I research them? It's pretty complicated, I'll admit. But let's see in this module from sourcing to actual analysis and execution of an idea, how someone can go about it, including some of my own real trades that I sourced from personal experience, how I used that personal experience to find the idea, research it, even though I didn't know the company or even the sector, how I, by really reading up on the company, analyzing it, learning about the sector, how I gained an edge and managed to invest in that company successfully. Now, obviously, first of all, sourcing, how do we find ideas? And this is the, as you can see, top of the funnel. Then, of course, you can't spend the same time on every single idea that comes up through your sourcing, and then analysis, all the ways that you can assess and analyze those ideas. Then how I used personal experience to source ideas, research them, and invest in those companies successfully before finishing off with edge. You have to have an edge. Doesn't matter if you read about a company from a newspaper, if you heard about it in a coffee shop, if you saw about the new product in an advertisement in the road, it does not matter. That's just the beginning. From sourcing to filtering to analysis, only then do you arrive at the point where you invest, and the quality of your work will decide whether you have an edge and a chance to actually make money. So let's begin with a quote by David Einhorn, which encapsulates how David Einhorn, successful hedge fund manager, sources opportunities, investment ideas, and starts to understand whether that idea could be a fruitful opportunity to actually make returns. So the question that David asks when looking at an investment candidate is, what do we think we understand that the market seems to be missing? So straight off the bat, David here wants to have his own view, even if it's preliminary, to be diverged from the market's view. And when we say market's view, obviously we mean what the market is pricing in. The market and us. So what do we think we understand that the market seems to be missing? And this divergence here, if we are right about it, could be our edge. So I'll leave it here and we continue with the module and see if this quote starts to make more sense as we move along. Now, sourcing. Where do ideas come from? Now, ideas can come from many places. Peter Lynch always says that he used to use his kids as sourcing of ideas. What do your kids buy at the mall? What do your kids want? What do your kids ask for? If you don't have any kids, nephews, the kids of your friends, what do they want? When the iPad was starting out, or when the iPhone was gaining momentum, maybe your nephew asked for an iPhone for Christmas. Maybe he stopped drinking Coca-Cola and now drinks Monster energy drink. Maybe he said, I don't want my Windows laptop anymore. I want to buy a Mac. Small consumer trends that you can feel out from your own personal experience, from your family, from your friends. It doesn't have to be kids. It could be even grown-ups. I'm using weight loss drugs. I like Alo Yoga brand. I hate Nike. I only buy Asics. All these small social trends that actually can also turn into mega trends. And this is the best way to find out about them, because you can't exactly be reading and catching up with 1,000 companies a year, can you? So you need to use your own personal experiences to source trends or even mega trends that could result in incredible investment opportunities. Another way to source opportunities, leveraging the news. Coronavirus pandemic. The world is expected to vaccinate. What happens there? The ChatGPT moment, AI craze. What happens there? Walt Disney dumps its CEO and management company and has problems considering spinning off and restructuring the company because Netflix is taking market share. All these bits of news are like a puzzle where if you put them together, you see a bigger picture of how the world is changing. And using your view of how the world is changing and where the world could be going, then from that, you can source ideas, opportunities. Now, sourcing ideas top down versus bottom up. Let me give you some examples. Top down, I just gave some examples. It could be, I want to invest in AI, and you start by finding AI companies. That's top down. I want to invest in biomedicine and biotechnology because of the COVID pandemic, any future pandemics that may arise. So I'm looking for vaccine makers or companies upstream, downstream in that sector. Now, that's top down. Bottom up is, for me, how I would explain it, when you start from the company first. So, for example, I'm not looking to invest in a specific sector